That never gets old.
You know, what does get old is that I haven't yet fixed that transition. It claws at my very soul that it screws up like half the time, and only while we're streaming. I think it's like the CPU has hit its absolute limit. Like it can do all sorts of stuff. It's pulling in two video streams of high definition through the internet, combining them into one high definition video, streaming it back out to the internet while I'm also talking with you on Skype and doing a bunch of other things on the computer to run the stream and everything, the stream deck buttons and all that stuff. But it's like, no, 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 no. It's the spinny face. That's where we're at. We are over the limit. That's like, if I look at,
I mean, the spinny face is very awesome.
I'm gonna do something here real quick. So right now, my CPU, this is I don't even know how many cores I have. OBS is using 339% of the CPU. Okay. Skype is using 113% of the CPU. That's just me and you talking because it's a Windows app or it's a Microsoft app, and so
Right.
it uses a ton. Everything else is just whatever. How many CPU cores do I have? I think I have
How many percents are you allowed to have in one hole?
one, two. I think I have 10.
I don't understand.
I have 10 cores if I recall. So I have up to 1,000%. You get 100% of each
Okay,
core. So
got it.
I'm going to do the transition. I want to see if OBS just like pegs out the entire computer or something like that. I'm going to transition over to just you. Okay.
Transition.
Now, see, it worked perfectly. It did use an entire additional core for
Flawless.
that though. Hold on. Let me do the thing again. Yeah, see, it doesn't do it. It doesn't do it while we're looking.
I was gonna say it
Yeah,
looks
see,
right to me,
there
Brian.
you go. It
So
screwed up there. But
it looks right to me, Brian.
hmm, I don't know, man. I don't know. If there's anything I've learned though, is we have to do
All
this
of the
live.
viewers think that you're
We
you're doing well.
we can only debug it live because when we're not live, it works perfect
Clearly.
every time. All right. When we're live, 100% of the time, it works about 80% of the time. Okay.
Exactly.
Anyway, I'm Brian. This is Pat. Welcome to the Structured Gibberish Friday night stream. It apparently has already started. We're live. We've been live for like 7.5 minutes. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about some toys, talk about a movie that's coming up. We're going to show the trailer, but not the whole trailer, so we don't get hit with another copyright strike because apparently they're looking at video that has no audio playing with it now, too, in a tiny part of the screen. Thought we could get around that, but apparently we've
But
played too
that's
long.
how cool that's how cool and important we are. The man's coming for
That's
us.
right. Viacom CBS has taken notice. Senpai.
Viacom. Viacom is such an evil corporation name.
It is. It is. It really is.
The evil forces of Viacom.
And then we're going to talk about Doctor Strange versus the Mom, the Multiverse of
Yeah.
Madness.
I want to bring something up
Yeah.
that
Okay.
I forgot to bring up
Should I
pre-show.
should I start the stream over?
Today, no. Today is Friday the
Yeah,
13th,
that's true.
right? Okay.
Yep.
Which got me thinking last night that while I've seen many of the Friday the 13th movies,
hmm
the fact that the day Friday the 13th is like the day that anything is happening in the movie is very rarely an actual plot point. And I contest that they should retroactively go back and change the name of the franchise. I looked it up. Only 8 of the movies, 8 of like the 13 movies maybe? Or no, 12. There's only 12 I think.
Okay.
Because it's a big deal that they want to make the 13th. Um Only 8 of the 12 movies are even mentioned that the day that the movie is happening on is the 13th. When I looked it up online, you would think that it would be a simple question to answer. Why is this franchise called Friday the 13th? The only thing the internet could tell me is that in somewhere in the backstory, Jason Voorhees was born at midnight on Friday the 13th. And that's about it.
Like,
And that occasionally the movies do actually are allegedly taking place on Friday the 13th, but it's never like, oh no, not Friday the 13th, that's Jason Voorhees day.
yeah.
Like that's not why they go out to hunt him, unless I'm mistaken. Our friend Jim, who doesn't watch this podcast, might know the answer to that, and I will text him later. And if I'm completely off base, I will tell you all
Well,
next
we'll
week.
issue a
But
formal retraction.
I really like it really bothered me. It came like last night. I was sitting on my couch thinking, and I looked at my phone. I was like, "Oh, tomorrow's Friday the 13th. Why is that movie called that?"
It's not as straightforward as like the Halloween franchise, which usually
No,
takes
no,
place around
clearly not.
Halloween. I think
Right.
they
Like it's all like Halloween almost always has something to do with Halloween, you know?
they've shown remarkable restraint.
And
If this franchise was created like today, then the sequel would be like Friday the 14th, then Friday the 15th. You know, like they would do something with the actual. It's a
and then it would just be Friday,
yeah, the
and then it would
Friday.
be the Friday.
hmm Um, yeah, it's a movie with a number in the name. You know, like they would have had to come
Right.
up with some way to make that work.
Like I just like there's so many other things that would make much more sense to call the movie. Like I don't fully understand why they latched on. Like I get it. Well, and again, this is all news to me because I never really paid that much attention. But during my light research I did last night, apparently this movie was made specifically kind of in response to the success of Halloween.
Yeah, that totally makes
And
sense.
so they were like, "Oh, well, Halloween, what other holidays are there? Friday the 13th."
Tax day. That's a scary one.
That's a scary, scary one. But seriously, it's just it bothered me. It's bothering me as we speak as to why this is. I'm sure that Jim will have a logical explanation for it, and I'll have to come back and tell you all.
Yes.
So
It probably
that's what I
it
just need to get that off
it
my
probably
chest.
is nothing other than they needed a competing scary holiday name. You know, like Jason
Right.
and Michael Myers are not dissimilar from each other. Um,
Not at all.
you know, and yeah, they're just like
Well, the thing that always
this
boggles
is
my
the
mind
Deep
too
Impact,
is
their
that
Armageddon.
right, yeah, I mean, kinda. Um, like, are you a fan? Have you watched any of these movies? Have we made you watch these movies over the years? I can't remember.
I who can tell? I think I've seen. I am not sure
Have
that
you right? Have you just
I
absorbed some through osmosis or
yeah, it's really hard to tell because it does permeate the culture. I don't know that I've actually seen any
right?
Friday the 13th. I think I've seen three of the Halloween movies.
Amanda and I a couple of years ago were trying to make it through as many of the Friday the 13th as we could that were available for free. We didn't want to pay for them. And so for Halloween, I know we got the first one, second one, the third one was my favorite because it was definitely um in 3D, and there were many ridiculous like, "Oh, honey, I'm gonna go outside and see if I can poke a rabbit with a stick," and then it's just like, like it would have been much cooler if it was just like the death stuff was in 3D, but there was definitely a lot of just like, "What's that? You want me to hand you a water? You got it."
I am I am
So
so glad that the 3D craze and then the resurgence of the 3D craze are both over. Thank
yeah,
God. I hate that. It's the
I
worst,
remember
cheapest gimmick.
I remember very vividly being forced because I hate non-gimmicky 3D. I hate non-gimmicky
Yeah, I
3D.
hate any 3D in a
Uh,
movie. Even you just like the regular, hey, we're just gonna watch the movie in 3D. It's distracting and it hurts.
well, right. No, no, that's what I mean. Like we had to see Thor. I think I saw it with you, didn't I?
Prop I,
And the only
yes, I
showing that
think
it
so.
was 3D.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I hate about
So I got things on
modern 3D is that you have, the glasses are obviously clear instead of red blue. Um, but they like for me, I don't know, it's probably ADHD related, but like I can always I pick up the glare of like the exit sign in the glasses, making it part of my visuals, and I can't like it's so distracting. It's so distracting. Um, but yeah, I hate it. I remember I actually sat with the glasses off for like 10 minutes watching just blurriness. And it's like this is what it's like for real people with glasses.
there. The
So
the For me, that wasn't an issue for me. I didn't have like the any of the glare because I'm always wearing glasses anyway, so I always have like side glare, and I'm just
Hmm.
really I don't even notice it. Um, but the for me, it was more of like a headache, and the movie seemed like extra blurry.
Hmm.
Because it's like two projectors at once, essentially. And so,
Right.
you know, they have to do weird, like different brightness things and stuff. And it's just everything was. I think we saw one of the Transformers movies in 3D, and it was like
I'm sure we had to
you
have.
cannot like in a normal viewing, it's hard to tell what's going on sometimes. And this was just like even
Right.
for me though, it was better if the movie was shot in 3D. If it was the kind where they had
Right.
the people like painstakingly frame by frame converted to 3D, those were much worse.
Yes, they were.
And you could always
And
tell.
it was
Yeah,
just
what
it
is
was
in my
completely
eyeballs?
pointless. Like you're right there.
Yeah, yeah, I'm okay.
That's good. Um, but yeah, it was just point. It was like, oh look, the background does look farther away. Why do I give a shit? I know it's a movie. I don't feel like I'm in the moment, 3D is a fun thing. Like I said, I'm sure I would have had a lot of fun going to see Friday the 13th 3 in 3D. Like that kind of like goofy, shticky, the shot is always lined up differently when it goes to the 3D. You're like, oh, or like you remember back when sitcoms were fun and they would have like an evening of 3D, like the Drew Carey show in 3D,
Mhm.
and then like they would just be like, oh, what are you doing, Colin? Oh, I'm blowing bubbles. Colin Mockery was never on the show.
He was
Um,
sometimes actually, like for a couple episodes.
really, who is he?
I don't know.
Who was he on the
I
show?
don't
He
remember.
just dropped a bunch of
He
stuff.
wasn't a recurring character. He was just like, hey, I know Drew Carey and Ryan Stiles, so I'm going to be on the show. He would just like
That's
appear from time to time, like very rarely.
that I I loved the Drew Carey show.
It was a really good
I
show.
truly, truly loved the show, but it has no legs. I can't like. Is it on something that I can stream? I'm sure it's on something, but
I don't know. I
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea. Maybe Hulu.
It's in that weird era of like I don't feel like it's old enough to be classic TV yet, but it
Hmm.
is. What else was on when Drew Carey was on? I can't even think.
I don't know.
That was the only
It was
show
the
we
only show.
liked,
There was the
right? We
marathon of Drew
just
Carey all the time. It was what I appreciated about that show was the type of thing you just mentioned, like a 3D episode, or we're filming this and this doing this episode
right,
live. Like that was one of the few shows where it really seemed like they didn't want to just do the sitcom style every single week. That every so often they're like, we're going
right.
to think outside the box. We're going to take a risk and do
I'm gonna
something
have some
fun. Yeah.
fun and I w- famously in the Weird Al song, the all pig Latin
Hmm.
episode of Drew
Yeah, because
Carey.
that was the thing. Like that
Uh,
was what Drew Carey became known for, not the actor, but the show.
right, and I mean that was it was wonderful. I loved it, and I feel like I would enjoy rewatching the show, but like I said, it's just not out there for me. It's not easily sitting in front of me to see. But it was in a weird time. Like it was after like uh TGIF, or maybe it was even part of like the end of TGIF. I
I
can't really
think it was
remember.
part of TGIF at the beginning.
At the beginning
At the
of
beginning of
TGIF? No,
its show. Like the first few seasons
maybe.
might have been.
Like it may have been at the tail end of TGIF as a thing.
It is currently not. You can purchase it from all of the major video stores, but
Right.
it doesn't seem to be streaming anywhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Terrible.
That's the thing. Like I wouldn't pay money to see it. Well, because
Oh my
I
God,
know
did
me.
Wikipedia change its font? Or are my
What?
eyes just blurry? Are they using
Yeah, your
like
eyes are.
what? They changed the font. It's more like a Futura now, right?
I'm gonna.
Hang on, I'm going to
I'm
browser.
gonna
I'm
look
going to
at that.
browser view.
Guys, we're
Isn't
we're
this a new
we're
font?
make no. It looks
Not this, not this.
it
That
looks
looks
the
the same.
same to me.
No, this is different. This is a new font, Pat.
I don't know. You know what? I'm actually not on Wikipedia very often, so you'd have to like get the Wayback Machine going or something.
Hang on, we're gonna find out what's going on here. Brian's a computer guy. Shwong.
Computer guy.
Where's the font? Show me what's low. Oh, it's not.
That is how our youngest customer from the old comic book shop days referred to you. You were the computer guy,
Who? Oh, that no, the
Lucas.
kid who's not a kid anymore.
He's certainly not a kid anymore, and if he's ever watching this, he should let us know. We should have him on as a guest. He's a cool kid. I'm
He's not a
friends with
kid.
him
You
on
just told me.
Facebook. Yeah, I mean he's still a kid to us because we're old men.
Oh,
I know we're only medium old, but we're getting there.
oh, this is not a font set by Wikipedia. This is a font set by Microsoft Edge. Wikipedia just says use
Oh
whatever
shoot!
font the browser wants.
Oh,
Right? I don't see any. There's nothing overriding this font because if I turn it off, it just shifts over to a serif. Yeah. Interesting, Pat. Interesting. What's the computed font
uh,
style? Is this exciting for everyone like it is for me?
I'm riveted.
Wow. That's font. I clicked the wrong one here. Font family, sans serif. Oh, here we go. I need to figure out where the prettify button is. Anyway, yeah, fascinating. I like that font. I like it a lot. Look at that, Roseanne. Look at. I'm a big fan of pointed A's in
Mm,
and I forget what this is called, but where you have like the circles in there like perfect circles.
mm,
It's very
papyrus.
it's not papyrus. That's the
It's not
opposite of what I'm saying.
papyrus. It's not papyrus.
Anyway,
Stop. Wikipedia's gonna come after us. We've shown this for more than 10
you
seconds.
know, some people, some people's okay, anyway, let's talk about the show. I want to show off my thing I got. I haven't opened it yet.
Yeah!
I haven't opened
Show
it
off
yet,
your
and
thing.
I'm not going to open it just yet because I don't have a spot for it. But let me give you the backstory on this guy. I think I mentioned him a couple of episodes ago. Maybe it was just a pat.
Yes.
I don't remember. But as you may or may not know, Hasbro owns the Power Rangers franchise and has for like 4 or 5 years now. They have this Lightning collection of a collector-ish, collector-esque grade action figures in which
I think they're collector's grade.
they
I
are,
mean, kids could also play with.
yes,
They're the same as Marvel Legends, right?
exactly.
You
They're
would
the
say
same, whatever the market is for Marvel
same
Legends,
quality.
it's that same segment. So
Mm-hmm.
most of these toys, I would say, the vast majority of these Lightning Collection figures are good, and they do a good job with them. Every so often, there's like an inexplicable goof where it seems like whoever created the figure, whoever designed the figure, like Googled it and just looked at whatever the first result was and then never looked at any other reference material. And you end up
Mm,
with like, oh, this thing looks like this because that one picture was cropped funny. You can tell that
right.
this person's leg looks like this because from this photo, from that angle, that's what it looks like, but that's not actually what it looks like if you look at any other photo. It's just that one angle, and you could pinpoint exactly which reference photo they used. Um,
Do you have any specifics on those? Because I would love to hear that actually.
I believe the upcoming Ninjetti Red Ranger appears to
Mm-hmm.
have a slightly different foot than the other male Rangers because they used one reference photo that was different than the rest.
That's amazing.
Um, which means they went out of their way to remold a piece for no reason.
Right, right. That's even better that
They did that for
they had to go out of their way to
yeah,
ruin it
they did that for
better.
old Black Rorichi when they did that for the a collector exclusive figure of a Japanese only character. They remolded the
I don't know if
head.
I'm allowed to say that.
Black Rorichi. Don't worry about it. Uh, I think it's well anyway. They remolded the head to take his smokestacks off because they found one reference photo where he was standing in front of a black background, but the smokestacks are black, so you can't see them in the reference photo. But if you look at any other, it's if you go to TF Wiki, You find the one picture that's on there. You can't see the stacks on his head. You find that, like, go watch the show. You'll clearly see that they are still there. They're just painted black. Anyway, so they remolded the head to get rid of those for no reason. Anyway, what's wrong with this guy? So in this show, Wild Force, they all have a sash on them. You see that gold thing? They have the number of stripes in the sash. I don't think you could actually even see that too well that there are stripes on it. But anyway,
Yeah, but I
is
don't
there
know
really?
if you held it still.
I cannot. Oh, you know what? You can see it though in the artwork. There are stripes.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
There you go.
so
I love that guy's artwork.
this. Oh man, I follow this guy on Twitter. This guy's got some amazing artwork.
I follow him on Instagram. So
Yeah, I also follow the guy who sculpts these toys. It's a pretty interesting
hmm,
process these days. Anyway,
hmm.
the number of stripes on the sash is equivalent to which number they are in the team. So like the I don't remember. One of them has one single solid stripe, and they're team member number one. Red Ranger has 5 stripes. This guy has 6 stripes. He's the sixth Ranger. Um, in the original, when they first announced it, in the original photos, he had 5 stripes, and he had white boots, even though he had white boots like the other Rangers do, even though he is supposed to be like gray boots, silver boots all the way down. Everybody pointed this out, and they said, "Well, we found a photo of him where he only had 5 stripes." And apparently, there was some American footage where they used a suit that only had 5 stripes. And that's what they made the whole figure on. And everyone was like, well, that's really dumb because he's the sixth Ranger and the number of stripes. So even if you did, in fact, we don't even know if that's true because I don't know that anyone's ever found that reference. I don't know if we looked into it or not. But either way, he's supposed to have 6 stripes. Like, it doesn't matter if you found a goof somewhere, you don't make that into your toy,
Right.
you know? So some versions with 5 stripes and white boots went out to stores. They did a running change to add 6 stripes, to make it 6 stripes, and then they did another running change to add the silver boots. So there are 3 different versions out there. Plus, there's packaging variants because this guy has 2 different packaging styles depending on where you buy it. So thankfully, Hasbro Pulse is typically the last place that ships out things. Like, they go out to all the stores first, and then Hasbro Pulse ships things out. So thankfully, it paid off this time that I did in fact get the version with 6 stripes and the silver boots. 6 stripes, boots, and the head is passable. You can't really see it too well in the shiny box, but
We're talking the human
the
head or
human head,
the
which they
other
call the
one.
portrait. Um,
The portraits are I would say Hasbro's in general. Their portraits vary greatly.
yes, they do. This one
Um,
is
there are
it's evocative enough of the actor, and what I care about
uh-huh.
the most, the paint is in the right spots. He doesn't have like one eyeball that appears to be
That's
looking up. So you
yeah,
could tell what
their
other problems
Star
we've had.
Wars stuff and and obviously their Marvel Legends stuff. It's so weird how dead on some of them get and so far off some of them get. There are some humans that are hard to capture.
Hmm.
I've noticed Harrison Ford, very difficult to capture his likeness in plastic. Um,
I feel like this one is
they've done
particularly
some
good too.
okay ones.
They did a good
That's
job with
good.
him.
I don't even know what that's supposed to look like though. Like I just like that looks like a human. With their Marvel ones, the one that blew me away the most, I still feel like is Wasp, Evangeline Lilly.
Hmm.
Her regular head is so spot
Nailed
on.
it.
Nailed it. Well, one of my favorites, I'm gonna have you. Can you pull this up real quick? Can you show everybody the Paul Rudd Ant Man head? That's the best
Yeah,
portrait
I
they've
will real
ever.
quick though before I put this one back in the pile. Um, when
Mhm.
they put out the blue Zeo Ranger, he just had the generic weapons and not his blue specific tonfas. And everyone was like, "Fine, we don't. That's fine." But then they started releasing other Zeo figures, and they had their specific weapons. And so Hasbro just snuck in his blue tonfas in with this figure.
That's cool.
So they were just like, yeah,
That's
you buy this army builder, you get the weapons that you guys have been asking about. So anyway,
that's the way to do it. That's one of the ways to do it.
um, Ant-Man. I feel like I have already looked up this photo for the show, but that's fine. I'm gonna pull it up again.
I mean, it's awesome. Um,
Oh, the face.
yeah, look for the face.
No, it was the.
There's actually two. It's
No, I
ironic
know which one you're
because
talking
I
about.
hear Paul Rudd did not like that they went with this head. It looks so good. I love it so much. Um, I, it's so Paul Rudd.
It is.
But yeah, Paul Rudd was on. I think he was on Conan talking about like he's like, man, I look like such an asshole.
Well, I mean,
And so there was a second one made where he's got a much more normal facial expression. It must have been, yeah, there it is. He's in the 2-pack there. Much more normal, bland,
hmm.
bland if you ask me.
All right, for the second time, let's
Uh
move on and talk about Migos.
Migos. I love Migos. First of all, I have been a fan of Migos since Twisted Migo Theater in Toy Fair magazine, back in the 90s, right?
Yeah,
I
not
think it
the
was
I
90s.
think it definitely started in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it went through the 2000s.
and I, I remember reading those and thinking they're the most hilarious things ever. And fully thinking that they were custom made action figures for this ridiculous comic book puppet show that they were doing. Partially because about half of them were.
Hmm.
Obviously there were no X-Men or anything like that in the original Mego toys, but the main characters, Spider-Man, Thor, Hulk, those all existed back in the 70s. Um, for anybody who doesn't know, Mego has made a comeback, resurgence in the last couple of years. And they've been doing pretty well for themselves, as far as I can tell. Um, One of my favorite things, there they are. Oh, God, I love it. What,
Hmm.
oh,
They
I love
eventually
it.
changed the name to just Twisted Toy Fair Theater after
They did.
they
They did.
added a lot more different toys that weren't just Migos. But it was
Right.
originally definitely Twisted Migo Theater. Oh, this was a good
Oh,
one.
that's one of my favorites. Oh yeah. We could do an entire evening on there were three graphic novels put together of I mean they just put together the strips that were in the magazine. Um, but yeah, again, they were the majority of those figures existed in the original Mego toy lines. And then there was a handful that they would kind of add in. One of my all-time favorites is got to be the one where Tony Stark, where they were waiting for Phantom Menace, wasn't it? Tony is in line,
Look, there was at least a volume
and
four.
yeah, oh, it's so good. Introduction by Stanley. Um, Insanely brilliant. Seth Green.
Volume
Da, da,
five.
da, da, da.
Did that say volume
Yeah, I
nine?
mean,
Well, there was a lot of these, Pat.
really, man, I only got the first three or four of them. Maybe I should go back and
This is
try to collect
this
more.
is I mean relatively recent if they're doing like movie Scotty on the cover.
Right, right. So, well, think about that though. It's really not that recent.
Well, I mean that movie
So,
came out in
time
2009 and
moves.
this is a collected thing, so it
Right.
has to be like within 10
Oh, see,
years.
yeah, 2001 to
Yeah,
2010.
there you go.
So,
Oh, this is a 9 year. Okay, I guess they didn't put out that many. Hmm. Anyway, go ahead. Continue your story.
anyway, yes, the point is, um, Migo, especially to me, is has been beloved, beloved. And they're celebrating their 50th year this year. and they are doing so by, and this announcement was made literally just hours ago. We're breaking this news. Um, they're gonna release the original, or, original set. I don't think they've said how many of them or not. For sure, it seems that um, Batman, Superman, and Robin are gonna be coming out. I don't know for sure which versions of them. The very first version of Batman was super cool. He had a removable cowl, um, to reveal Bruce Wayne and whatnot, and Robin had a removable little mask and everything. Um, Superman had his face.
His face.
His face. I need that emoji. I need that reaction, gif, whatever.
Graph.
Um, graph. But yeah, I'm super excited. I'm totally gonna buy these. I love Mego. I have a ton of Migos. I have most of the superhero collection. Um, but I will buy these newly minted Migos. They come in the box too. That I always liked, and I always like the idea of figures in a box rather than on a blister. I don't know why. But now Hasbro is forcing us into that now anyway. So I hope they veer away from what they're doing though. You know, not a huge fan of the, it's still like a Marvel Legends shaped box. You just don't get a window hole anymore.
Yeah,
That's not cool. I don't like
I
that at
don't know
all.
what the motivation is behind that.
Well, it's allegedly to be more, environmentally friendly.
Reduce the plastic.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, even at that, like I still think we need a window. Even if the window maybe doesn't even have plastic on it.
You could
You know what I
paw
mean?
it. Yeah.
Make a, yeah,
Get the COVID all over
poke
it.
poke the figure.
Hmm.
But I gotta be able to see what I'm buying. I don't want to buy a a box and hope that something's inside.
Right.
So
With the way people return things, that
right, right.
you know,
I have seen some pretty damn ballsy returns. One of my favorites was there was a wave of Green Lantern figures. Must have been 15 years ago almost, but people were just shoving old wrestling figures, and so they could get the figure. Or my least favorite thing is that they will buy the whole wave, remove the build a figure piece, just put the thing back without the build a figure piece inside, and return the fucker and be like, now I can't build my build a figure because this is all you got.
hmm my favorite one was this guy, Blue Streak, because he's Blue Streak, but he's blue.
Hmm.
Someone bought this guy and stuffed the previous version of this toy back into the box and returned it. So it technically looks like it matched the, it was a different figure entirely, but it's the same character. Like an unsuspecting target person is not going to realize that it's a
Right.
different toy. The problem is the previous version of it was a BotCon exclusive that goes for like $250 on eBay.
Hmm.
So I don't know what this person
That's
was
awesome.
thinking. That's
That's
art. That's
awesome.
performance art right there.
Right, right. Whether they knew it or not, that is
Yeah.
performance art.
Speaking of Transformers, I want to talk about this thing that they announced this week, this Lego Optimus Prime.
Oh man, that looks cool.
This was designed by Joe Kidd, who works at Lego, who, like 20 years ago, worked for Hasbro on the Transformers line. He's a famous Transformers designer
All
and
right.
now works at Lego and got to work with Hasbro and Takara on this thing, which is pretty
That's
awesome.
amazing. Yeah.
It it transforms without coming apart, which is pretty sweet. The knees do not bend, which is okay, I guess. I feel like they probably could have figured out a way. But
I mean, they could have, but let's be honest here. This is a Lego transforming transformer. You build the friggin' Lego and it still transforms. Mind is blown here, man.
yeah,
Mind is
and not only that, like it transforms well. Like this is the
right,
way
right.
Optimus transforms, and it like it looks good. Like this is a good looking. There we go. This is a good. Come on, get in there. This is a good looking truck mode, right?
Right.
Like we're just really decent truck mode, and then this is a solid robot mode. You know,
Hmm.
he's mad about something. He's gonna rip someone's face off or whatever. You know, he's got the cool gun. One accessory that I
He's
love that I think is great. You also get to build his jetpack, which
oh,
is um, a classic Optimus Prime accessory, despite the fact that on the show he was like, Sideswipe, give me your jetpack. I need a jetpack. And Sideswipe's like, oh, okay, here you go. This is literally part of my body. You can have it. And then since from that point on, they were like, okay, Optimus has got a jetpack. It's Optimus's jetpack. He needs it. Gotta have it.
that's horrifying. Brian, I need an arm.
So yeah. Anyway, it comes
Okay,
with a
buddy,
jetpack.
here, have an extra arm.
And it's cool because it's not just like an accessory. Like you build the jetpack out of Legos too. Everything is Legos.
Hmm.
The whole thing is Legos, all the way
I
down,
mean, like I
top to
said,
bottom.
that is very cool. That is super duper cool.
Hmm. You could probably mod it,
This is a
get a kit, put some knees in.
oh, you could mod the shit out of this, but
These are spears on the
um,
side of his
I
head,
don't.
I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably true. This is some master builder level stuff here. Figuring out how to craft an Optimus Prime out of probably mostly existing pieces.
You get some energon.
Uh,
You get
yeah, look at
you
that.
get
Get
the
the
axe
energy
thing.
axe.
This thing looks awesome. The gun.
That gun looks like it might have some cheater
I
pieces.
think it does. Actually, you know what? These are probably all like
I mean, there's a lot of Lego
I
pieces
think,
in that
yeah, I was
gun.
gonna say, I think these are probably pieces that like were made for Star Wars or something like that. Like these are probably all
That could
existing
be
pieces. They're very
right.
not brick, you know, like they're very specialized,
Mhm.
but I bet most of these existed already. Like we got the Matrix over here, and then you get one additional crotch. This is your one piece you get to swap out, I believe. You can because you can have this kind of crotch when he's in robot mode, and then in truck mode, maybe he's got a different looking crotch. See,
Mhm.
and
I
so
see.
they leave it up to you.
Which
Which
old crotchety crotch would you
yeah,
like
which
to have?
crotch do you prefer?
How many crotches would a crotch if a crotch could
We could ask
crotch?
this
I
guy.
guess.
Which crotch? He likes the yellow crotch. Yeah, display it
Oh
next to
man,
your weird art with a yellow crotch. But don't put the yellow crotch on the vehicle mode. In fact, is this an entirely different
Ooh,
bumper?
I don't know.
Buy
But
two
I
of them.
I like that it comes with a redonkulously stupid little placard,
Yeah, that's for when you put them up at
like
the
it's
art
in some
show.
sort of
Yeah.
right. It's in some sort of modern art show.
Can you even see what's written on it?
This
It's probably just like it's tech
function
specs.
commander.
Tech specs. We could play a video, but only less than 10 seconds.
Oh, you're
There you go. That's it.
playing with fire. Cut away! Cut away!
All right. Oh, look, it's got size. It's actually rather large. Like, I mean, you could
Yeah,
tell
it
from
looks
the guy
huge
here, but like,
actually.
it's like the size of the original Masterpiece Optimus,
Uh-huh.
which was pretty big.
That's the one I have.
Yeah.
It's too big.
Yeah. It is. They had to downsize that line because they couldn't afford to keep making figures in that scale. Anyway, as long as we're still on the browser, let's shoot on over to Thundercats. Ho.
Thunder, thunder, thunder,
That's good.
Thundercats. Anyway, Thundercats, the fucking Super 7, they make beautiful things and then they just charge too much money for them. I love and hate them for this. They took the Ultimates line and then tweaked it so they look just like the old action figures. I as ugly as that Mumra is, it is dead on.
Mm.
And Lino, I love those colors. It's so bright and vibrant and fun. And from what I understand, because I stopped getting these, um, people say that this version of Chitara is better than the standard version, how it came out. But also, let me say, Super 7 is notorious for showing you beautiful pre-production stuff,
Hmm.
and then what you end up getting is a far cry from it. So people have been very upset with the last couple of, like the Tigra, that just recently came out that everybody has been waiting for so long. They I think they're on wave like 6 or 7. Well, wait, what roll up on this? Which wave is
6.
this? 6. Okay, so this is wave 6. Wave 2 has just come out,
Hmm.
and also wave 3, like at the same time, I think. Now, part of that's COVID, but also Super Seven's been like this for
Final
years.
figure may vary.
Just you don't don't just assume. What's that?
Final figure may vary, it says.
Yeah, yes, and it will. It will definitely vary, and you'll have this notion in your head. You'll be thinking, yes, this is what I'm going to get. It's not what you're going to get. I
Who's this?
do
Who's
love
this
that they
ape guy? Ape face?
Monkeyin,
Monkey him.
I believe is his
He has the
name.
same foot that
Monkeyin.
Mumra has.
Yes, probably, most likely. Share They share a lot.
Same
Share a
hands.
lot of stuff.
Yeah.
hmm
Okay.
They share a lot of stuff.
Good. They're friends.
I'm sure that the body, the torsos are the same. I think Mumra's legs are just
He
longer.
looks hairier. Is that
Uh,
sculpt or is that paint?
oh yeah, you're right. He will have. I'm sure he'll have like a textured body. Um, I'll tell you what I do thoroughly enjoy about this is that they gave you the helmeted and unhelmeted versions because so many of us as children lost those helmets, and so these toys exist in our minds. Like Mumra never had a helmet on, like past probably the second day after I bought him. He did not own a helmet anymore. So the fact that they gave you just the regular old bald head there is pretty hilarious, and I love it.
I think that's interesting that they excuse me, that they cater to that very specific niche of kids who almost certainly lost their accessories.
I think that it was 99% of kids with this line. Like, it's why would you make his headdress removable? Like, that is an LJN. LJN, is that what that was the name of the company? Yeah. That was a mistake on their part. Like, never did Mumra the Ever Living be like, I'm gonna take this off for a while. Oh, it's really hot
Been
in
a
there.
rough day.
No, you should have they just sculpted the head to have that piece on. And so, like, famously, all of these uh pieces are very hard to come by. Oh, I got
Oh wow,
little
you
again.
really did. See ya.
Um, wow, look
Yeah,
at that. Yeah,
your quality
bet you
dropped.
can't. Bet you can't.
I
Oh,
wish it would center it. That would be better.
uh,
That's fine.
right.
Don't worry about
It would be lots better.
it. Nope.
But anyway, these are great for what they are. They're way too expensive though. If they were in like the regular old $20 to $30 range, I think that I would probably pick up at least the uh, Lion-O there. But the fact that these are going to probably start at 45 and Mummer's going to be like 60 or something, they're just too much for what they are. So,
If they did the same thing with the Power Rangers Ultimates, like catering to the way you're like the reality of your toys. The Power Ranger ones come with like you get like their normal sword, which is like nicely painted and proportionate, but then you get the big blocky like white one that looks exactly like the version from the original toys, like the poorly sculpted one. What they should do is give it to you as if it's been chewed on by your dog or your younger sibling, because that's how every single time I find that accessory, that's how it looks.
I mean, that's how a lot of them go. And it is funny. I would love to see Mattel jump on this and give us some like half chewed on swords for your He-Man guys, and no chest plates.
Yeah,
They're all gone.
give me a
Just
pack of chewed on weapons. I'm tired of chewing on them on my own.
absolutely. Yeah,
Can you give me
making them vintage is just ridiculous. Chewing on your own
could you
weapons.
give me a refresh of your video so we can get the size back to normal here? Turn it off, turn it back on. He's he muted himself now.
Now I
You
didn't.
turned off the wrong
I did.
medium.
I turned off the wrong thing. Hold on now. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my video off so I can reset it. Nope, that's changing the background. Okay, my
Okay,
video
while he's
is
gone,
off.
everybody listen. Yeah, just turn it back on there. Come on.
Hold on.
You can do it. You just hit the same button again. Come on. Oh my God. It's back. Maybe. Yep, there we go. And you have a guest.
I I have a guest star. Yeah, I was trying to get her to 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 make the jump while we were trading the video. That's why I kept muting. Sorry. I was trying to do it seamlessly, but it just didn't work
Oh
out.
God. It's better this way. It's funnier.
This is the plight of recording in the kitchen. I'm actively working on my man cave downstairs so that this sort of thing won't happen anymore. So,
Here's the thing.
anywho,
All right. Let's real quick, very carefully talk about what I hope is the official Weird Al trailer. Yeah, this is IGN. I've been burned by clicking on fake trailers and getting them ready for the
well,
show and then realizing they're fake trailers. But anyway,
especially because the Weird Al movie is birthed out of that fake Weird Al trailer that came out,
mhm. Now you'll note
Funny or Die years ago.
you'll note that I'm not just playing the video, jumping around so we
Mm-hmm,
don't get a
mm-hmm, hmm.
copyright strike on it.
Right.
Um,
Just jump about.
but anyway,
Um,
they're playing. Is it like a surgeon?
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Which I think is a new
I
recording of
think
it,
that this is. Oh yeah,
or
maybe.
or an old live recording or something.
Um,
It's not the studio recording. But
right.
anyway, let me just get to.
I think that this
There
is
we go.
a very interesting.
Finally, we've got to some actual meaty footage that isn't just the crowd. But yeah, I mean, he's not exact. He definitely looks like, to me, he looks like Daniel Radcliffe dressed like Weird Al. But
He does. But there are some
yeah,
moments, like in the trailer, like not this
no,
one,
not this one. There.
the one where he like walks in to the exec's office and like throws
Mhm.
something, like that was it was very Al.
This one.
This right
Yeah.
here, right here. I think that this is like UHF Al, like 100%.
Hmm.
100%. I could watch him do a shot for shot remake of UHF.
That would be, you know what?
Just
That's if that was the sequel, I'd totally be good with that. That was a great. UHF is a fantastic movie. The mockumentary of Weird Al, The Complete Al. Do you remember that one?
uh
That was a pretty good
yep.
video too on VHF,
All of these
VHS.
are fantastic if you ask me. Weird Al is the kind of creator that doesn't half-ass stuff for the most part.
And to
Frozen?
do a Weird Al. Oh, did I lose you?
Just for a moment. I'm back, you're back, we're back.
All right, hold on. My computer is reconnecting to the stream. I think we
Ah,
lost the stream for a second there too. Okay. Yeah, the director I think is in a pretty good headspace. There was an interview with him a couple of months ago where he said basically like, um, from the moment Weird Al sat me down against my will to tell me his life story, I knew this was going to be a great movie or something like that.
well, and I didn't realize until this trailer how, like, I assumed it was going to be silly, but it's like everything is silly about this. Like it's not none of this is going to be the actual tale of Al.
Mhm.
You know, this is going to be a very goofy take on biopics in general,
Right. Yeah.
which I'm all for. I am all for Weird Al transcending music and now just getting into full parody movies. Him and Mel Brooks should hook up, do some stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see how much of this movie is going to actually be like intended for you to assume to believe it's actually factual versus how much of this is you're supposed to believe this is some sort of exaggeration for the sake of comedy. Like and how if they'll make that
Right.
clear or not or what, but either way,
Well,
it's probably
here
going to be fun.
the part that got me was well, the official synopsis says something to the effect of I can't remember how they worded it, but like his famous love affairs and stuff. And in this, we see him like getting ready to hook up with Madonna,
Mhm.
and and it's like, so that didn't happen.
Right.
you know.
That's
Um.
yeah.
uh, P.S. I love Rainn Wilson. I think he's going to play an amazing Dr. Demento, but I am a
Yeah, let me
little
get the
sad
let me
that Patton Oswalt
there we
is
go.
not uh picking up, because Patton Oswalt played him in the fake Funny or Die trailer for this very movie that didn't exist then. That was that like 5 years ago, I feel
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
So,
That's too bad.
but again, I love Rain. I think he's hilarious. He's Dwight from The Office. Anybody who doesn't know him
Mhm.
personally, like I do, like I just call him Rain. No, I don't know him. Um, or and I mean, like like scenes like this where he just goes, anybody got an accordion, and several accordions pop up. Like it's very silly, it's very fun. I can't wait. Does it have a release date somewhere in here?
Fall.
Fall.
Yeah.
Fall, gotcha. um and- just like, this is also the kind of comedy that Al, like right here, that is so Weird Al. I think like he's obviously having trouble closing the door, and it just doesn't, you know, it, like it doesn't seem to mean anything at all, and I still just it ticks me. So, um,
Yeah.
I
You gotta
when I
have the Roku
first
channel though, because it's a Roku original.
right, but the Roku channel, I have it. Maybe we should do it here live on the air so people can know for sure.
Right,
I'm
we're gonna install it
99%
on our
sure
Rokus.
that it is free
Yeah, if you got the
to
Roku channel.
to do. No, I'm saying the Roku channel, I believe, is free
Mhm,
to sign up for.
mhm.
And
Yeah, you just
so,
gotta have a thing that you can install the Roku channel on.
right. I mean, any of your you can put it on your phone. You can put it on your TV if you got a smart TV.
Yeah,
I feel like most
what do you
most
do for the
TVs are
people who
smart
have
TVs these days.
what about the people who are watching this live stream who have no technology whatsoever?
Well, you can always carve it into a piece of wood.
Okay,
Just
take it to the
carve
Oracle.
carve the word Roku, and then a blood sacrifice will also grant you the power to view this video.
Mhm.
Don't try that at home.
No, do it in the Roku.
Um, yeah, in the woods is best. But yeah, yeah, I
I'm gonna
think so.
take this off the screen before we get a copyright strike.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like if I have a still frame up for 10 seconds, if they're gonna get mad or what.
Well,
I gotta
they're
look up
already
all the
mad.
rules now. I don't
They
know. I'm
they
caught by
they
surprise.
woke up mad.
Yeah,
They
well, maybe
woke
they'll
up
die mad.
mad. Probably.
Well, anyway, um,
Yeah, create free account just so everybody's aware.
oh, you gotta
Roku
create an
channel,
account.
you can't you just come over to my house. We'll watch it
I mean,
together. We'll live stream watching.
I have it. I have the Roku channel. I'm all set up. I just don't. I just, it's annoying.
I tell you. Anyway,
Anyway,
I'm excited for so
me too. Let me check that we covered all the topics we wanted to cover in the first half. Looks like we did. So let's take a quick break and then we're going to talk about Doctor Strange with spoilers. And I'm going to refill my water.
wait. We should do a very fast spoiler free review and then do the break.
Okay, I'll give you my opinion and then you give me your opinion. Ready? It was fine.
I enjoyed myself while watching it,
Very good.
and I think it was well made.
Yeah, it was a good, it was Sam Raimi and Doctor Strange.
And I will also say, not what I was expecting,
Yes, definitely.
but maybe what I should have been expecting.
Hmm. You should have expected what was going to happen because Multiverse of Madness abbreviates to mom, and that's a hint of who the main bad guy is of the movie.
Granny Goodness?
Anyway, we'll be back after this short break. We'll do more. We'll do slightly more spoiler free after the. I need more water. I got to fill up my water.
We'll do more shtick when we get back.
Okay, we are back. I had a hitch, if that's what you want to call it. I had a technical issue there, and I had to pause the stream and reconnect it. And I think we're good to go.
Now we're here. Before we weren't.
We were dropping a lot of frames all of a sudden, and I don't know why. So
Dropping frames. Is that what that means?
yeah,
No.
yeah, no. So anyway, Doctor Strange. We went and saw it last Tuesday, I think it was. Um,
Hmm.
I thought it was pretty good. It was definitely a little bit of a different feel than most Marvel movies.
Are we still spoiler
Yeah, we're
free?
still spoiler free right now.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I feel like it definitely did not feel like a Marvel movie. It felt like a Sam Raimi movie,
Yeah.
which is weird because Sam Raimi is kind of the father of the Marvel movie,
Hmm.
but not the current Marvel movies. There is a meme going around that I think you should just believe, without getting too much into it. It's that Trojan horse meme that you're probably familiar with. And then so the people accepting the Trojan horse in are listed as the general public. Um, the or no, I'm sorry, the people accepting the horse in is the Disney execs. In the arena is the general public. The person pulling the horse is Sam Raimi. The horse is labeled Disney's, Marvel's, Doctor Strange, and inside the horse it says Evil Dead 4. It's maybe not quite that, but it is. It's got a feel that meme sums it up pretty well for me. My overall feel for the film.
Hmm.
So if you like Sam Raimi, I think you will like this movie.
Yeah.
If you like Marvel movies, you'll probably still like this movie. It's still a Marvel movie. It just doesn't have that same kind of formula that the rest of them go through. Which, I mean, half the people out there will tell you they don't love that Marvel has a formula. I am one that does like the formula. I like knowing that I'm going to enjoy something. And so when we watched it, um, I definitely felt weird watching it. And I was like, do I not like this?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I always have that question because when I'm in a movie, I like a movie. You know what I mean? I'm very easy to please once my butt's in the seat. It takes you doing something pretty bad for me to not enjoy myself at the movies. And so I was worried that I was like, oh, is it just the movies? Am I just wanting to like this so much? But the more I've thought about it, the more I'm like, I really did enjoy it. And I think it had a lot of cool, fun bits, and it's not like every other Marvel movie, which is kind of refreshing. So,
Hmm.
um, but it also wasn't like an instant, like when you saw the Guardians of the Galaxy for the first time, or when I did, I know I was just like blown away. I was like, what? This is how good this could be? What? you know, that was not the feeling I got from this movie. This movie, I think, because again, this movie goes pretty far into left field. You know what I mean? Like just things I was not at all expecting. Um, and some of that is helped by, and this is a teeny bit spoiler, just teeny. Um, the the trailers are purposefully misleading, like so much so that the VFX are flat out changed. And so again, you kind of you get this feeling of how it's gonna go, and like right from the get go, you're like, oh, okay, that's not how I saw this going.
Yep.
So it kept me on my toes. Kept me on my toes. How long was the movie? Because I felt like it was not long.
It was about 2.5 hours, I think.
2.5 hours. I am very surprised because it feels jam packed. You know what I mean? Like the um the motion I feel like is nonstop. You're just like you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here.
Yeah,
There are
it
a
really
lot
it
of
really does keep it
ideas
moving.
being thrown at you. Um, it could have been three movies.
Yeah, that's the
Um,
benefit of it being like traveling the multiverse is that you do
right,
go to a lot of different places, and those places are generally similar to other places you've been, but also different.
right. And again, that's kind of the fun of it is that it's not like you don't need a long explanation for each place that you're in. And you can do something cool and crazy um in that universe in that moment and then just be like, well, the universe Z over there is pretty much the same.
Mhm.
Or you can rest assured that you're like, well, maybe they won't revisit this particular universe, but I'll bet you there's one very similar to it that we'll hop into eventually too if we want to touch base more on these things or what have you. Um the I'm gonna go out on a little bit of a limb here because where I enjoyed most of the movie. I actually think that the actress playing America Chavez is not the greatest. Like she doesn't have the best acting chops. It could be Sam Raimi. Sam is used to dealing with people in a certain way. Um, his style is that I don't know specifically, obviously I've never been directed by him, but he seems to have a pretty standard directorial style. And there were a couple of beats. Most of her stuff was fine, but there were just like a couple of beats that we'll get into when we get into the more spoilery stuff, where I was just like, did that just happen in a big budget film? Did that level of acting just happened? Okay.
I think my problem with I didn't have a problem with her acting because she didn't have a chance to do a lot of it. Like it
It's true.
that
Yeah,
that was my big problem with her character was that she's around for almost well pretty basically she's around for the entire movie, but she keeps just getting sidelined and then brought up,
right,
and then sidelined and then brought up. And for almost the entire movie, she is not allowed to do anything. So I
right.
think that's my big problem. I think she should have done more. And if she's not a great actor, she didn't have much of a chance to convince me of it.
Like I said, there's just honestly there's one part that really bothered me. And again, we'll get into that a little later. Um, the the other parts of the movie that I kind of wanted to, I don't know. I feel like you need to temper your expectations for this film because for me, like none of my initial expectations were really there. And the stuff that in both ways though, like there's stuff that blew me away that I was not expecting. um and also like, oh, thought they were going to do that, but they went a different way, you know um and Brian knows this. There's a plot point that I don't necessarily agree with. So
Shall we get into the spoilers?
yeah, all right, let's do the official spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
That's all
I
I'll
should make a
do.
thing where it puts spoiler up on the screen so
Oh,
that when
that's well,
people join, they'll be like, "Oh no, it's spoilers."
we'll work on a graphic. It'll be fun.
Okay.
Um. Anyway, so okay. Just since I was just talking about it, I'm gonna talk about the part that really bothered me with America Chavez. Um. There's a part in the movie. I assume everybody who's watching this now has seen the movie. The part where they end up in the Illuminati universe, and Baron Mordo gives them the drink and they pass out.
Hmm.
I thought that America Chavez's passing out was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. She literally is like this. She's like, "Oh no, what?"
Yeah.
like,
And Doctor
like
Strange
that
gets
is not
significantly longer.
right, right. It's this bizarre like head drop that she does to pass out. That I was just like, what? Like, like that's like grade school, grade school play acting. Um, and again, I can't say that it was her. I can maybe Raimi was like, no, just drop, you know. But it was weird. It was a weird moment. Um, I also wanted to say that I think the nice. I think that uh
Get in there.
the
Maybe I should use some
fact
tools.
that do you want me to wait
No,
until
no,
it's
no. You're good. You're good. You keep on going. I'm just doing some. Graphic design is my passion here, Pat. Just what the hell is going on? Hang on.
oh,
Uh,
just put it in Comic Sans, won't you?
Hold on. I'll figure this out. I got to figure out the line spacing.
I get you. I get you. All right. What I was going to talk about is losing my train of thought and how often it happens. No, the fact the fact that we kind of got cheated out of an actual Doctor Strange 2.
Why doesn't this work?
I don't know.
Should
I
I be
don't know.
should I be doing this live or not?
No, I don't think so. I know this. If somebody just like popped in right now, they would just be like, "What is happening?"
Can't even change
They wouldn't.
the.
They wouldn't even. They wouldn't even know what the spoil. Know that there was a spoiler happening. Just the text is being thrown on the screen.
This is the
This is the
weirdest.
kind of things. These are the kind of things that people don't watch our podcast for.
Yeah, hang on.
Um. Anyway, the fact that like I felt like it was so shoehorned in. Like they're like, "Yep, let's open on Christine getting married." And that guy sits next to him, and I was like, that guy kind of looks familiar, but I don't really fucking remember him. But he was the his Doctor Strange's regular guy foil from the first movie, and it's like, oh, okay. So glad that. And then I think what was even weirder was that he got like billing at the end of the movie. He was like within the top 5 people in the movie. Maybe not five, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. It was.
I thought that was odd. I thought that was odd to say the least. But I felt like it was more like Sam Raimi was like, okay, I get to come play with Doctor Strange. And they're like, yeah, but you got to make it make sense with Doctor Strange 1. And he's like, ugh, fine. I'll put this 5 minutes in the beginning and fix it all. All right. But then after that, it's horror movie.
I'm gonna start.
um,
I'm starting over with the text.
cool, cool. We'd love to have your opinion on some things.
No, you go ahead. You're doing great.
Ugh, such a butt. So all right, so let's go back to kind of the beginning of the movie. This is one of those things where I think that I my expectations were dashed a little bit because we had what version of Doctor Strange is that was like the first one?
They didn't really give it a number, I don't think.
No, but he mirrors a comic book version. Like he's like um Superior Strange or something like
Yeah,
that.
from when they
There's
did
a
that. Yeah, when they did that one where like the whole universe changed and they merged the ultimate world in.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like he was a version of Doctor Strange, who I think had a ponytail. I think that was one of his defining features. Oh, hey, look at
Well,
that! It's a ghost.
I'm getting
It's a pixel ghost of spoilers.
I'm getting closer.
Yeah, I don't think you are, but okay. Um,
It's why does scaling not work in this?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe because this isn't the time to do this.
Perfect. That's what we're doing.
All right, I love it. I love it. Wait, where is it? I get it.
Uh,
Oh, uh,
it's
I think this is hilarious. I love it. Um,
this is
let's
what
there's
professional. streaming
there,
is all about.
there is a multiverse out there where this worked flawlessly. This is not that multiverse. So anyway, the movie opens
I'll figure
on
this
like
out by next time.
a pre uh a pre-venture. I like middle adventure, Otherworld, Doctor Strange, and America Chavez fighting a cool monster thing. And also, can I want your thoughts on this. Did you feel like maybe they were going to go somewhere else and then they decided in the middle not to? I feel like the notion that because as we know, people who've seen the film, anybody watching this still, if you haven't seen the film, you're quite silly. But the notion that all of the monsters were just Scarlet Witch.
There are a lot of there are a lot of things that are just kind of like you're expected to just accept that this is the way magic works. You know,
Right.
like yeah, it's we have taken these characters who resemble these demon characters who resemble like alien monster things from the comic, and then we're just going to casually imply that Scarlet Witch has the ability to manifest demons in other dimensions, but not in her own. But she can't easily go to other dimensions, but she can very easily create demons in them. It a thing that is never used again after it's revealed to be an ability. After that, all of a sudden, it has to be like she has to go into the other dimensions. It's
And let me the elephant in the room for me is making Wanda the villain. And not even like they try to give you that the dark hold has corrupted her or what have you, but there's never like a point where it's like it's not Wanda. Like it's always Wanda.
yeah.
And I did not like that. I felt like um I felt like Wanda Vision, the very popular show, was leading her towards hopeful redemption. you know
Hmm.
like it was like, oh, the show is all about her grief
She needed a
and
redemption. That was the thing, is she needed
right.
redemption at the end.
Well, she needed a redemption for sure, but first they pushed her all the way, and I don't like that. Like that's something
Yeah.
I am never in the market for that. Like I don't like seeing
It's
Superman have to break Zod's neck. I don't
yeah.
like when I go see these movies, and especially this is where like the Marvel formula works for me. I know that the good guys are good guys and the bad guys are bad guys, and then at the end, it might not seem like the good guys are going to win, but they're probably going to pull it out in the end.
Mhm.
This was nope. Wanda went bad. She went real bad, and she did some completely unredeemable things, and in the end, she's dead.
Yeah,
And it's like,
she did the I mentioned, I think I said this when after we got out of the movie, is like she did the Darth Vader path where she's like,
right.
you know, something tragic happens. She there's an external evil influence that causes her to just kind of snap. She goes full on evil. Apparently like clear-eyed. Yeah, it's like, yes, I'm aware that this is the evil. It is making me evil, but that doesn't matter because the evil is helping me achieve my goal, and I'm going to keep
Right.
on going. And then just at the very end, she's just like, well, yep, you're right. I guess I'll kill myself. I'll
Right.
save everybody, but I'm going to kill myself here in the last few seconds. It's exactly the Darth Vader story arc, and I agree with you. Like I'm totally fine with having someone go down the full on dark path, but you got to give me the satisfying ending at the end, right?
Well, right. Or at least the fact that like WandaVision was definitely didn't end with the notion that yep, Wanda's the bad guy now. We're
It
all going to have to kill Wanda.
Like in
It was
retrospect,
a
if we had
well,
understood if we had
right.
understood the implications of reading the Darkhold, we would have been like at the very end of WandaVision, we were like, oh my God, she's using the Darkhold, she's conjuring her children. Like this is really bad, right? Like, but
Right.
we didn't really grasp what
It
was going on with the dark. And
it seemed much more uh not heroic, but like she was just trying to bring her kids back. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? You were
Yeah.
just like, you're like, okay, she's looking for a way to get her kids back.
And
And I am with her. I am,
the
you know what I mean?
the
Like that is a powerful storyline.
the other implication here is that Agatha is actually fairly innocent as well. She's also just corrupted by the Darkhold. She's equally as corrupted as Wanda.
Right. Right. And and I mean, who even wants to see an Agatha show now? You know,
I mean,
as much as I enjoy the notion of it, but like
un-
without
unless it's
like
going to start out with Wanda being like, okay, yeah, I survived because I'm a super duper powerful witch. I survived and I'm good now, and I'm going to do the thing that I'm going to do whatever it takes to make everybody fall in love with me again. Then I'm okay with the Agatha show. But it feels like
get,
then it's
get
not the
back on the
Agatha show.
lunchbox.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a wonderful term that I am going to use as often as possible. I love that.
Hmm.
Um, but like I don't know. Like I said, I felt like the decisions seem like this movie seems a little bit like a uh what was the middle Star Wars new Star Wars movie like a
The
like we're just gonna
oh the
subvert your
yes, this this movie almost like it was weird in that it does subvert your expectations, but it does so casually that you almost it takes you a while to realize your expectations have already been subverted and you're just now
right,
catching up. Like
right.
you
And again, I do want to be clear. I liked this movie.
yeah, I did too.
Like at the end of the day, I really did like this movie. I just have problems with what it implies to the rest of the universe, I think.
Hmm. Um yeah, like it took me a while when he goes when like nothing influences Doctor Strange to be like we need to find Wanda specifically. Like there's no like external force like Wanda isn't to our knowledge like manipulating him to come and find her. Wong is just like this isn't your kind of magic. This is the other kind of magic that's slightly different from your kind of magic. And he's like I know someone. And he goes over there and he's just like, "Hey, I've got this girl who can punch through dimensions." And she's just like, "Oh yeah, well, turns out I'm the bad guy." And
Right, that's exactly how the conversation is. She's just like, you know how I've left magic behind me, and he's like, yeah, it looks like you have, except you haven't. We're actually in hell. I don't understand that. Like, because it legitimately switches from you know a beautiful apple orchard to the set of a Sam Raimi film.
yeah, it really does. For what's supposed to just be like a like all the trees are dead, it really does look like it's significantly redder than it should be.
Well, yeah, the skies are red. Like she is. Well, she even said the hex was easy, so they were in a hex.
Hmm.
You know, so that's why the skies were red and the trees were dead and all that other
Yeah.
BS. Like she had a section again of world that she did with whatever she wanted. Um, which again, like I kind of wish there was like a middle thing in between WandaVision and this to show or at least hint at the fact that Wanda was heading further down that path than we thought.
Hmm.
Because again, it really felt like Wanda at the end of WandaVision, Wanda was going to take the dark hold and that she was the Scarlet Witch, so she was going to be powerful enough
Yeah.
to withstand the dark hold to bring back her kids.
Hmm.
And
And
again, like in the you know technically we did get what we thought we were going to get, but like we were all well, at least I was very sure that it was going to be a different Wanda that was bad. Like it was like, oh no, this is the darkest timeline Wanda. At least our Wanda isn't to that. Maybe she could, and I thought that maybe she, you know, she would learn from this really bad Wanda that she can't go down that path. But again, you know, subverted the old
yeah.
expectation.
And
Um,
they did it like in the very beginning when you first see Wanda and you don't realize that she's evil. Like she just kind of wakes up from a nightmare, or actually not a nightmare. She wakes up from her really nice dream, and then she's picking apples or
right.
whatever. Like she's tending to her apple forest, whatever. And and it seems so nice. And Doctor Strange walks up, and they're having a nice conversation, and like the way she says like, "Why don't you bring America here?" And then he doesn't say anything, and then she's just like, "Ah, you didn't tell me the name," and I'm just like, did she read his mind? Like, what's the implication
Right,
there? Like,
right,
what?
right.
And
And
like,
then it was just like, oh shit, this is, and I mean that's the classic. Oh, I am the villain. Like that really is. You usually used to experiencing that at like the end of the film.
mhm,
Not like in the first 15 minutes.
yeah,
Um,
like
and
it was a weird place for a fake out.
it was, and I think but it had to be there if you're going to buy the rest of the story.
It had to be there if you wanted to
Um,
give the audience the mistaken impression that she was not the bad guy for like 3 minutes.
right. Um, but it was. I really think that they have to start talking to Hasbro because this that the official toy line for this movie, the build a figure was that fucking Minotaur guy who got to speak like twice.
Yeah,
Who
I
wants that?
actually think
Nobody
he spoke
wants
once.
that. Maybe.
Yeah. It's the people who are like, "Oh, I love
And
that character in the comics from whatever the one story is that everybody likes him from," like the three people who remembered who that was. You know,
right.
like he in the movie, if you're just interested in movie characters, he was like, a very weird, why is there a cow guy here?
Yeah, absolutely.
That we don't
And then
you don't seem to see any other mystical or alien looking people in the Camertage crew.
right,
It's like, why
right.
is this guy here?
But they also gave us the movie version of the Steven that dies 5 minutes into the film,
Hmm.
and of course is resurrected later to my delight. The only thing that would have made it better is if he was actually a bad guy and could have been like, "I'm the bad. I'm bad, Doctor Strange.
You're
You're
good.
good,
Yeah.
Doctor Strange."
It was, I mean, even going back and like looking at screenshots from the trailer of like the makeup that they used, it's like it doesn't look like Benedict Cumberbatch. It
No,
looks like it looks like Ash,
it does.
or it looks like,
100%.
the
It
it
looks
looks
like
like
evil
Bad
Ash.
Ash. Yeah. Exactly. It's so a completely
It's
different
it's
character.
so Sam Raimi.
It's
So Sam
that's
Raimi.
so Raimi.
But I love that. But I again, and I don't think they even gave it a good enough reveal. In the movie Evil Dead, Doctor Strange uh commands a bunch of crazy demons into his own cape,
His own army of darkness
making
there.
making for like a spawn like zombie monster thing, and it's spectacular. If there was a figure I wanted out of this movie, it'd probably be that figure.
I mean, that's truly a build a
um
figure right there.
it absolutely is.
And I just love
um
that he says to Christine, like, as an afterthought, like, "Hey, I'm going. I'll be right back. But just so you know, literal undead demons are going to spew out of me, and you're going to need to fight them. Okay, bye." And she's just like, "Okay,
and she's like, okay,
yeah,
okay.
okay."
And to talk about Christine for a moment, we talked about this. Sam Raimi has something for bottle redheads.
That was
Gotta
weird.
be.
That was weird.
Gotta be. Because for no reason, she went from, I think, blonde, maybe dirty
I think
blonde. But in the first movie, I think she was very much more a natural
she's a
redhead.
natural, like, strawberry blonde redhead kind of
Right.
person, yeah. And I think she is
And
in the
then
616 universe. She still is. Like,
right.
she's a little red.
And then but then for no reason in this one, she's got like the exact same color red hair that Mary Jane has in the Spider-Man movies. Um, so I just think that's very interesting. Um, I think I think we've tiptoed around it enough. Can we talk about the Illuminati
Yeah,
and
yeah,
how
yeah,
that that was hands down my favorite part of the film,
yeah,
hands down,
exactly.
right up until the end.
Right up until they weren't anymore.
Because I mean, so yeah, this is the big tease. They gave us the glimpse at the hover chair. We knew Patrick Stewart was back as Professor X. What I would never have guessed was the inclusion of the music, which was just I could have gotten up and done a jig
I
The
I looked
second
over
he
at you
comes
after that
on,
happened, and I saw you like lean forward a little bit, like whoa, whoa, whoa,
when
shit just got real here.
this the second he came on screen, it was just and I was like, oh, which leads me to believe again that this was actually the X-Men animated universe, which is very sad for what ends up happening at the end of it. Um, but I thought it was
I mean,
very interesting.
if you think about it though, like in the X-Men animated universe, they have like a mix of like modern and postmodern technology. Like there's laser guns because they can't do bullets on cartoons, you know?
Right,
So it's
right.
like maybe this was literally they stepped into the animated universe and we just perceived it in live action. And now
I mean,
Professor
it
X is
could
dead.
be. Professor X is very dead now. I thought it was interesting the way it was handled. I mean, and again, it's the entirety of the Scarlet Witch's character is very interesting to me. I've always kind of liked it, in the movies. I actually never gave a darn about her in the comics or anything. I never, she was just never, wasn't anything that I avoided or anything or disliked on purpose. I just never read anything with her in it. Like it just happened that way. So the movie Wanda is really most of what I based the character on in my head. And I mean, here's the other thing. Elizabeth Olsen is adorable. Like adorable. I I don't want her not in the MCU anymore, I want to see, well, and you know what? Poor Vision, White Vision deserves to have a, you know, I don't know, something good happen for him.
Yeah.
He deserves to have a Wanda. But yeah, this really does put a nail in the coffin of if we're ever going to get a WandaVision season 2. But anyway, back to the Illuminati. I thought it was super cool that I can never remember her first name. Rambo.
This one was Maria. Maria is the mom.
Maria,
Yeah.
Maria. I was so happy to see her. I thought that was really cool because I it was such a crummy. Well, I mean, it wasn't, but it was just like I felt really bad for the actress and the character that she kind of died off screen. She was like, oh, well, I guess her daughter gets to be cool now, but yeah, seeing her as Captain Marvel, which is a cool alternate universe, thing. It could have easily been her.
I I was a little so they have a very cool fight. Her
Mhm.
and Scarlet Witch. In theory, these should be the two most powerful people in the Marvel universe, right?
Yes,
They're
for sure.
they're both empowered by Infinity Stones. They're both like the only two people who are more powerful than Thanos.
Right.
Assuming, Captain Marvel, not Maria, but you know, um, and their fight, they are essentially evenly matched, until she gets hit by a statue.
Which I again like that's there are several things in this movie like I feel like they must have rushed
Yeah, this
because
was like,
there are just so many things that are like that, like she literally punched her through the building, like she left the building and came back.
mhm.
And so I don't understand why ultimately some other rubble fell on her and she's
Right.
like,
It's like they didn't know how to end. Like they had their ideas of
right.
like this is the cool action shot, and then they just didn't know how to end it. And
Well,
they just be like, mm,
I honestly felt like Black Bolt and Professor X were the only good, like visually, obviously it was all cool to watch, but like those are the only two that made some kind of sense.
yeah.
And like we talked about, does Black Bolt's make sense? I don't know. Like, why would his power, like, shouldn't it have just like burst a hole in his face like this way, and like where his lips were would have, but like I don't know. He spoke. Why would he speak too?
He
Like,
pa- he
what's the
he panicked. Like
right?
what you hear is he goes like he makes like a panic noise when he realizes his mouth is gone, and for some reason that goes up into his brain and not like out through his
Right.
face. Who knows? I still don't understand how someone like Black Bolt could exist and like have survived
Right.
childhood,
Right.
without just blowing his own head off from time to time, but I don't know.
Sure, sure. Mistakes were made, I'm sure. But yeah, I thought that for the amazing, amazing bringing John Krasinski in as Reed,
That was very cool.
Richards, Mr.
I
Fantastic.
really want them to keep that
Um,
casting. I really
well,
suspect they're not
so
good at
here's the
on
other
that.
thing though. I don't know why they wouldn't. You know what I mean? And I actually think now, I would be upset to see. We talked about Tom Cruise as Iron Man didn't happen, but just because of like scheduling conflicts.
Yeah.
I think that would have upset the apple cart, if you ask me,
Yeah.
because everybody else makes sense.
I
When
mean,
Doctor Strange is going through each universe, it's always Benedict Cumberbatch looking different.
yeah.
It's never like, oh no, I ran into like I honestly thought it would have been really fun to see things like, oh, we should have seen like a blip. It would have been really fun, and maybe they're saving this for like an America Chavez centric, film or TV show. But it would have been really fun to see a ton of universes, and it would have been great to see like Lou Ferrigno painted up as the Hulk again, and just been like, ah, and things like that, things of that nature, where it would have made sense to see. Well, there were rumors that John Krasinski was involved in this,
Yeah. Well, there was
and
also like a minor fan campaign to make sure it happened too. Like, I don't know what the order of events were, but I feel like either the fan demand for that casting got on Kevin Feige's radar, but also John
see,
Krasinski was
that's
going for it too.
for sure.
Yeah.
But John Krasinski, early on, it was rumored that he was involved in this because of the multiverse thing, because he was almost cast as Captain America.
Hmm.
He was in the running for Cap. And so the prevailing theory on some of the boards I was on was that we were going to see uh, Tony Stark as played by uh, Tom Cruise, who was up for the role,
Hmm.
and we were going to see Cap as played by John Krasinski.
Hmm.
So it's the all of those like, oh, this is the way it could have gone. This really is some universe out there. These guys could have been playing the role. That's fun. But again, the way that they presented this now, it's a much bigger crapshoot to say, well, that's a multiverse guy. He looks completely different than me, but I'm the same guy. I mean, we did it in Spider-Man. It worked.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I
in
I think the unfortunate fly in the ointment is that the next time we see Professor X, he will almost certainly be a different actor.
For sure, for sure. I can't imagine Patrick Stewart doing it again. Like I think it took a lot to convince him to do it this time. But it was still great to see him in perfect, 1000% perfect
Hmm. With
Professor
the
X.
woom woom
The
woom
hover
woom lines
chair,
and
the
everything.
woom woom woom, the
Doing
green
the
suit, the striped tie, everything was 100% everything I've ever wanted. When he was in the mine, he was wearing the black turtleneck and shit. It's like,
that was so perfect.
this is so good. I don't believe that Professor X has ever uh nearly died because of being in somebody's brain, let alone letting his brain get his neck snapped. Like that doesn't jive with me.
I think
If you think about it too
yeah,
much.
I think he almost died
Um,
that one time in the cartoon with the Shadow King, and Jean had to help him. Shadow.
yeah, but I don't think it was because of physical. Like he literally goes ah and then falls over. Like
That's
he.
the power of the Scarlet Witch.
I
She can
guess,
literally
but
do anything except to, like instantly kill the. Okay, can I tell you what's most frustrating about the main characters
yes,
of this movie?
yes,
They only have a sense of urgency occasionally, and it is extremely frustrating. Like they are running through the tunnel that goes under the river, and as soon as she said it goes under the river, and I'm like, okay, well, clearly we're going to be flooding this tunnel, obviously.
right.
But like they are running from her, and she is right behind them the whole way, and then a door manages to close, and they just stop and literally stare at the door. They're just staring at the door, and they're like, is she going to break through? What's she going to do? How come she didn't break through? Well, we can't move on to the book until we know if she's coming through or not. And then finally she like pops up and they're like, oh, we gotta keep running. She's still here. And then they get to the last door and they get into the whatever dimension and they stand there and they're like, well, there's the book. Think we ought to take that book and defeat her? Like, yeah, we should get that book. He's like, all right, gonna very slowly walk over to that book there and reach up there and get it's totally within reach, but I'm gonna do it real slow. Get my book. All right, let's take a look at that. Yep. Oh my gosh, she's here. She shot the book. It's gone now. Man,
Right. It was such a again, leave
it
it to
was
Raimi
yes,
to
it
make it
it
a
was
book that you have to acquire.
so
Uh,
it was such plot centric urgency.
right.
I
And again, like
It's like it was
it's
like NPCs in a video game where like as soon as like some danger is gone and they're just like, oh well, back to milling about. Like
right.
that's what it was.
Do 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 do. Yeah, it was. See, parts like that are frustrating to me. Raimi didn't have any hand in writing this, did he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I definitely feel like this was Sam Raimi trying to make an old
I'm gonna
school Sam Raimi movie with whatever they gave him.
I'm gonna look up
You know,
if he has any writing
um,
credit in this. Written? No, he has no writing credit. I'm sure.
yeah.
I mean, it's when you're the director, you get to pull some strings and stuff. But no,
Well, sure, sure.
he was not the
You get to
plot guy.
tell people how it happens, but yeah, the rest of it is. But I think that there it feels like it's at odds with itself.
Mm,
The movie does feel like it's trying to be one thing while doing another thing, and again, I mean, this is nowhere near a flop or even a bad movie. It's just it's got some holes that are you know larger than most Marvel movies holes, I think. um and I don't know, I just don't know that it I was expecting this to really move along the Marvel storyline. I thought this was going to be the kickoff to a lot of
I
stuff.
still don't understand after like our third outing involving the multiverse, how
Uh-huh.
the multiverse fits into the grand scheme of things.
Right.
Like we
That's
keep
I
talking about the
was
multiverse. I still don't understand how Loki's involvement in the multiverse has any effect
Mhm.
on what's happened in the last two movies. I I I
Well,
guess
like we
like
talked about. So think about it this way. If we're to believe everything that's going on, then Loki only just allowed the multiverse to happen. The
yeah, but
multiverse cracking apart and being all over the place only just happened, right?
yeah, but it's a super times. Oh God, we're going to talk about timeline. It's
Well,
a it's a
what I'm saying
it's an
is that
outside of
so
time
did
scenario. So he has created a multiverse that has now always has been.
right. But so what I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, technically speaking, America Chavez didn't exist then until Loki did this, and now she's always existed.
Maybe.
You know, like, but I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is bad storytelling. This and again,
I
that's not
there
something that Marvel does
Yeah,
often.
it's an
But they really
uncharacteristic.
need to
Yeah.
wrap this up and say what's going on. Now, one of the things I do want to point out that I was very excited about is that we got some clarification about how the spell worked in the Spider-Man movies. Doctor
Okay.
Strange 100% remembers who Spider-Man is, seems to be like still like with the notion like he's a friend from work, but I don't know who he is. He's just Spider-Man, you know. And I'm very happy that that's where it is.
Mhm.
So it's not going to be like people are like, "Oh, who is that spider person over there?" Like it's it's Spider-Man. We know Spider-Man. We met Spider-Man. Anthony Mackie can still hate Spider-Man. He just doesn't know it's Tom Holland. But it's that kind of thing, and I was very happy about that.
Mhm.
Um, I also enjoyed that banter a lot. The banter back and forth about
The web does the web come out of his
the
butt?
webs and things like that.
I hope not.
It was there was some spectacular delivery too. It was like, hope not.
Yeah, because I mean, you can't be like, no, 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 I've never seen. But then you're just like, but what if I've just never seen him shoot webs out?
Right.
But yeah.
But
So
I go ahead.
America Chavez,
Yeah.
they show you her memories of her past and everything, where she's from a parallel world, which is in the comics it's called Parallel Utopia, I believe. And her origin story that they show here is basically, for what they've shown, is it lines up with her origin in the comics, except for that while they were making this movie, the comics retconned her origin, and she's
Uh-oh.
actually from the normal Marvel universe, where she was like experimented on an island called Parallel Utopia, and the trauma of it all caused her to create these false memories of being from a parallel universe where everything is perfect. And then she escapes the island. She's just a normal human Earth person, as it turns out.
I see. That's dumb.
Yeah. So I don't know if they'll pull that in. I don't. Personally, I don't care enough about this character to have a opinion on what her origin should be. I do think
Right.
it's interesting, though. I don't know if the comics make the point that the movie does or not, that she's what in Transformers we would call a multiversal singularity. There's only one of her across the entire
Right.
multiverse, which is unique. Um, Usually you may have a universe where someone, things lined up where that person was never born or something like that. But like, you would always have a significant amount of multiverses where you exist in multiple ones. But
Right.
to be absolutely 100% one single version of you across the entire multiverse, of which she's seen 76 universes, so maybe she hasn't seen much. Yeah, maybe she's out there again somewhere, who knows. But if you have the ability to travel between multiverses, then it comes to like the, if time travel is real, why haven't we seen time travelers kind of thing.
Right.
But
Right.
anyway, um, I do like that I think because her power in the comics is making star shaped holes, along with like flight and invincibility. She's got like every power. Um, but I do like the way they portrayed the visuals of the star shaped holes with like kind of looking flashy and crystally and stuff like that.
Right. I think that they've been learning. Well, we know they learn more and more to go ahead and lean into the comics. You know what I mean? The Professor X woo woo woo, the Spider Sense wiggly wiggly wiggly.
Hmm.
You know, the more we get those kind of oh wow, I just found a fantastic picture I'm going to show you. Um the more that they can lean into those aesthetics, the better.
Hmm.
It just because it makes sense, these things. I just sent you something you should probably share with everybody. Did you get
Oh,
it?
nice. Yes, I did. How do I? Let's see. I'm gonna
While you
have.
figure that out, I'll keep
Is there
talking.
is there? Do you have like a URL of it so I could move it over to the
Um,
browser? Because all I can do is download it.
right. Okay, hold on. Yep, I'll get you. I'll get you. How's that?
Dochi Gomez is only 16 years old.
And like I said, I certainly didn't dislike her in the movie as a whole. I felt like there were a couple of key points, very specifically the one where she passed out, where it was not the best acting.
Where's my
So
browser, Pat?
I don't know. I didn't move it. Space. That's my terrible Patrick Stewart
What's
impression.
what's going on here? Why can't I grab? Okay, hang on. I'm gonna do a thing real quick.
Fair. Um,
You keep talking. I'll figure this out.
I will. I will keep talking. Um, I don't know. I keep thinking that this could have gone differently. This movie could have been different. And I might have even enjoyed it more. Nope, that's still space. Oh, but there it is. Look at that. There's a I would hang that poster in my
Hmm.
home. Um, it does. I mean, like I said, especially like this, the moment that they were talking about the dream walking, um, and he's like, doesn't doesn't have to be. And it's like, oh no, he's gonna evil dead him. He's gonna evil dead him.
Hmm.
Now, okay, I
But it wasn't
also
evil. It was a good dead.
it was a good dead. Um, I feel like there is still like maybe there's like a 5 hour version of this movie that makes a little more sense or has more backstory to it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And I'm down. I'll watch it. But like I just feel like there's so many quick like the movie goes by so fast. Like I said, for it being 2.5 hours, I never would have guessed that.
They cut a lot of fat
Because it
from this movie. It is what it feels
it
like.
right, it just feels like well, and I mean, okay, we were gonna start talking about this and we got sidetracked. So Reed Richards is shown he is the smartest man. You know, it's wonderful. So the smartest man in the universe is just like, no, we don't care about Scarlet Witch. We can handle Scarlet Witch. We can't handle you, Doctor
Yes,
Strange.
but they also couldn't handle
Um,
Scarlet Witch.
but that I mean, like, how is it possible that they were so underprepared?
Hmm. That
The
they that
Illuminati,
they knew that Scarlet Witch. They knew what that was. Like they knew
right?
they were
They were well
clearly
aware of
aware of
like
the threat.
all of this stuff, and they were just like, it's totally fine. And then within 2 seconds, she annihilates almost all of
Yeah,
them. And especially Reed, like you would think that he would try something,
yeah, and
but
not
he
just
just
like,
gets
hey.
he, he gets turned into a ribbon. Like that wasn't even
He
like
gets
a
he does that
like
thing where
it
you
would
get
have
like
been,
the red vines and you gotta like peel them apart, you know? Like that's what she did to him. And then he made a
but
pop at the
it
end.
would have been. I know that was the worst part of it. Like it would have been so much cooler to see him like stretch him in a like a really weird, terrifying way because we hardly get to see his stretch. Like I think he reaches for something at one
It's
point,
when he
or
jumps down into that scene, he stretches into it.
okay, okay. So yeah, it was just kind of a very lackluster outing for the smartest man alive, Mr. Fantastic, cool bendy
Hmm.
powers. Like none of that was on display because he was just like, Wanda, you've got to stop. And she's like, actually, I don't. Pop. It's like that was not smart,
It,
Reed. That was just not
it was
smart.
also, I think, maybe a little bit amusing that he was just like trying to talk her down and everything, and
Uh-huh.
she went straight to gruesome murder. She didn't like, she was like, I'm gonna
Right.
incapacitate. Like, I can clearly put you all to sleep. But she was just like, no,
Right.
no,
Like
it's
there's
murder time.
well, and again, that's the thing that I disliked about this arc for the character, not necessarily for the movie, but the arc for the character. I hate that Wanda. I hate to think that our Wanda, you know, the Wanda that we saw go from a bad guy to a good guy back to a bad guy even worse than the first
Hmm.
time. Like that's it's just hard to watch, you know. And it's so hard for a character that you have sympathy for, and a character that, you know, God forbid you identify with in any way, to watch them go all the way off the deep end and just like keep going. Like at every step you're like, okay, she could probably still use her powers and fix this. Okay, she didn't kill that many people. Okay, and then you're just like, nope, nope. Professor X, Reed Richards, these people are important and they're all dead. There's no coming back from this. You don't kill Patrick Stewart and get to come back from
I
it.
so that scene though gave me a little bit of false hope just because again, um, it sometimes it was hard in this movie to comprehend what was going on until like it's too late.
Right.
But like when he sees normal looking Wanda under the rubble in the mine, and
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's the real Wanda. And like you know, he's gonna, if he can free her, then she can break free of the Darkhold. And then like a few seconds into
I
it,
felt the
yeah. Then I'm
exact
just like,
same
oh no,
thing.
that's just the Wanda whose body she's possessing. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I was like, "Oh my god, he's gonna fix it. Professor X is gonna fix it." And then it's like, "Oh fuck, nope,
No, he didn't.
nope, nope,
Not
nope."
only did he not fix it,
I mean,
he
and
got dead.
he got dead. He got dead quick.
I don't.
That I mean, and again, that sequence was creepy and beautiful to watch, and
If Jean was there, this would have
wonderful.
been different. If we had a Phoenix, we would have been
We
fine.
had
But
a Phoenix versus a Scarlet Witch. I think is probably a pretty close matchup.
here's
Uh,
what I don't understand, Pat. And
mhm,
I rag on this movie for the logical inconsistencies, even though it's still hella fun. Um,
right.
who is the father of her children? Like
I don't
she
know. I
manifested
mean,
them out of her imagination in our universe. Maybe she dreamt of them because when you dream now, dreaming is just you viewing another
right,
multiverse. So maybe she dreamed of them, and that's how she knew what they would look like and created them in her hex and everything. But who is their father? In all the other multiverses where they exist, they're seemingly in multi ones. They exist across several. It's
right.
not Vision, unless there's multiverses where Vision is a functioning human capable of reproduction. Are
I
they
mean, to be fair,
manifested
we
in every
really
multiverse?
here's what
Are they
I'm
magic?
thinking.
Are
Here.
they
I
fragments of Mephisto?
get out of here, Mephisto. I would have taken Mephisto in this movie, but just FYI. No, but I think that the kids that were manifested in our universe were in direct correlation with the fact that Wanda has children. In most
Yes,
universes, she ended up having children.
I understand that. I
Um,
want to know how.
I don't know. I mean, I think that we don't know who the father is because she never got to have that happy, like, human connection here.
Mhm.
That's why she has vision. I don't think in those other universes she has vision.
Sure.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Or if she did, it was after the boy's father probably dies or something.
Hmm.
Maybe she still can reconnect with
But she
vision that
has
way.
powers in this
But
other universe, which means
yeah,
she's either unlocked her Scarlet Witch ability or has also been experimented on by Hydra.
I still think that that experimented on from Hydra thing is ultimately going to, if the Scarlet Witch gets to continue to play in our universe here, I think that's going to be pushed more and more to the wayside.
Yeah.
Because again, that was in that era of Fox and Marvel being like, screw you, Fox, you can't talk to me like
Yeah,
that.
where we were briefly pushing
you know,
Inhumans and like the Gifted and
right?
stuff like
There
that.
was no such thing as mutants. They're gifts
Yeah.
or
Well,
miracles and inhumans and whatnot.
WandaVision already did a
Um,
fairly good job of retconning it, where they were like, yeah, they did experiment on you and stuff, but really they were just augmenting your powers that were already there.
right, right.
You know. But your brother
So
had no powers, and they
that's
definitely did give him powers.
I don't know that they said that
No, they
explicitly,
didn't, but
but
that's the implication.
um, he could still have super speed. And anyway, the point
The
is
speed was
that
within you. The crystal just brought it out.
the whole
Yeah,
time, the whole
Speed Force.
um, so yeah, I think that trying to think. Oh, there's a huge part of the movie, huge, massive part of the
Huh?
movie that we haven't talked about yet.
The credits.
But Papa
Yeah,
Pizza
Papa Pizza.
or Pizza
Pizza
Papa,
Papa. It's
Pizza Papa,
Pizza Papa, yeah. Best part of the movie,
Pizza
really.
Papa, as played by the legendary actor Mr. Bruce Campbell, who is sadly showing his age. It's never a happy time when you're like, oh, heroes are
Yeah.
old.
We're a far
But
cry away from Evil Dead here.
yeah, we are. And I mean, I follow Bruce on the social media stuffs, and so it's not like I didn't know, but like you kind of think that, well, he's going to be in a movie, they're going to spruce him up. Maybe they'll dye his
Spruce
hair.
Bruce.
He'll be looking more like a spruce Bruce. Um, but he played into exactly his age demographic, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong. People should be able to be their age. It just hurts me personally when I find out that my heroes, who I still think are 20 years younger than they are, at least, um, are not. But in any case, he is Pizza Papa, who is the seller of pizza balls in this weird. I don't even know what like the shtick of that universe was. Like
It,
there was a lot of foliage
thing,
on
things
everything.
were just a little bit different. It's
Right.
not like the mirror universe or like the cowboy universe.
Right.
Unfortunately,
Right.
it was all just like,
Exactly.
yeah, it's a little bit different.
Uh, it's something's amiss. Here's something that I also don't fully understand. We'll get back to Pizza Papa in a second. Um, what like they're just like it's these quick explanations that I don't like. They're just like, yeah, dream walking, that's bad. And if you say why, they don't want to tell you. They don't care to tell you.
You have to
They're
use
just
the
like,
dark
it's
hole.
bad.
You have to like. I have an explanation for everything, but I had to come up with it. It's
Right,
like, oh
right,
yeah, well, because you have to use the dark hole to do it, and the dark hole, well, yeah, it's like you have to put all the pieces are there, but
right,
it's
right,
I don't want to say it's not holding your hand, but it's almost like they took a box of puzzle pieces and just threw it at you.
right.
You know,
Well, and just the notion of that. So in that universe, in the Illuminati universe, there's Stephen Strange to save the world. Did whatever it is, and again, it was very unclear what he did. You know what I mean? Like nobody really says exactly what he went from universe to universe, seeing if there was a solution to how to get rid of Thanos and figured it out. And then they were like, "All right, but Steven, you did the thing we all agreed never to do. You saved the day. And for that, Black Bolt is going to destroy you." And he's like, "You got me. I did it. Kill me now." And it's like that just none of that makes sense. First of all, why is it even a thing? Like if you have a character who can just speak at something and they will die, like why did Black Bolt not just call Thanos a dick and and just end him?
I don't know.
And you know what I mean? Like you have these like super powerful characters wherein we saw characters like okay, just think about the notion of the the Star Lord f up where they almost got the thing off. Imagine if Reed Richards was there,
Yeah, or Professor, like
or
literally,
like or
pretty
Professor
much
X, like
everyone on the
literally any
Illuminati
of
except for
those.
Baron Mordo would have been able to take on Thanos.
Right, and so it's the notion that Steven had to do something so awful. Like it would be something
What
else
did
if
he
they're
even
like, no,
do? I don't
once
even
you
remember what he did.
dreamwalk, like he dreamwalked. Like that was
Oh, yeah,
that
true.
was all that they were like he dreamwalked and that was it. That was enough. And it was like I don't see like they should have had it like I don't know, they should
The
have made
movie,
the idea of the dreamwalking more terrifying or more evil. Like maybe you're murdering the person when you enter their body forever. I don't
the
know.
problem is
But
the movie, like Doctor Strange uses the Darkhold and he dreamwalks for a significant amount of time into a dead body, which is the movie tells me even worse than
mhm,
dreamwalking into a
mhm,
live body. Seems like it would probably actually be better because you're not bothering someone who's alive. But that aside, like at the end of the movie, he's totally fine except that he gets a third eye, which you're led
right.
to believe like the presumption is that's bad because the other bad guy Doctor Strange had a third eye. But he also seems to be completely unaffected other than like he screams when it first happens. Later on you see him talking to Clea and he's just like totally like there does not seem to actually be the movie doesn't spend enough time to explain to you that there are actually consequences to this because it appears to be none.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I just don't understand. And again, like
They put him
it's the
to
kind
death
of
in another
stuff,
universe for this.
right.
After he
And they're
saved
just
the
like, "Oh,
world.
yep, he did it again." But he did it okay
Yeah.
cuz he's different. He's different from the other Stevens.
Wanda was
All the
correct.
other Stevens wanted to take America Chavez's power. He
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah. No.
Cuz he's got to hold the knife except for this one time. He was like, "Nah, kid, I'm just a gross dead version of myself. You do it.
And also, why didn't he sound like this? I'm always disappointed when.
Sally Farmer.
Sorry.
All right, Pat.
Love.
We gotta end it here. I
All
think
right.
pretty good. I think it's
Um,
definitely worth a watch. I found it very enjoyable.
it's highly
Yeah,
entertaining. It
despite
makes
everything we just.
you wonder about every. It raises a lot of questions.
Yeah,
That's
and
all.
the
So
answer to those questions is don't worry about it. Don't think about it too hard. We're not going to answer all your questions. The next movie is going to make equally as much sense, I'm sure. Don't worry about it. All right. If you had a good time, it was worth your money. So,
right.
all right. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for watching. We will see you next week. How do I stop this thing? Does my button work?
I don't
We're going to find out